Hi, it's Frank Falbo here with Seymour Duncan to talk to you today about the Shapeshifter Tap Tremolo pedal, the SFX-07. The Seymour Duncan Shapeshifter Tap Tremolo pedal is a 100% analog pedal. That means that all of the sound that passes through the pedal is going to pass through the pedal in the analog domain. So for tonal purity, for tonal integrity, you can count on the Shapeshifter Tap Tremolo to maintain the integrity of your original tone. However, what lives inside of this pedal, along with all the analog components, is a digital brain. Now, what does that digital brain allow you to do? Well, it allows us to have a multitude of features that really weren't previously available on any other type of analog tremolo device, or at least not in combination with each other. The biggest feature that it allows us to provide for you guys is the tap tempo feature. Let's take a look. When I'm in rate mode, my rate knob simply acts as a regular rate knob. That means that up here it's going to be really fast, and down here it's going to become really slow. But at any point in time, I can go to the tap pedal and I can hit my tempo in, and the pedal will learn what tempo I've just placed in. Let's take a listen. Fast, slowly, anywhere in between. What it also means is that during this song, if I want to go a little bit faster or a little bit slower, or if my drummer speeds up or slows down, which we all know drummers never do, I'm able to kind of catch up or meet up with the tempo of the tune. But also from song to song, if I'm going to use tremolo, I don't have to reach down to the pedal and change it on my knobs. I've got it right there on the pedal. But at any point in time, if I go to the rate knob and turn the rate knob, well, it takes over again. So either one will usurp the other one when you're using it. Now, if I go down here just below the rate knob and flip it to ratio mode, now the rate knob acts as a subdivider. What does that mean? Well, if I tap in my tempo and I'm in the 1-to-1 quadrant, that's my speed, okay? Now, if I take it to 2-to-1, it cuts it in half. Now, I've got twice as fast movement. Now, the next quadrant is 3-to-1, and that cuts it into triplets. Listen. If I take it to 4-to-1, it cuts it 4 times. Now, one of the coolest features of the triplets, the 3-to-1, is that if you're playing a song that's in 3/4, you can tap your tempo in on the ones, and the pedal will automatically subdivide it for you into triplets. A nice feature to have. For the rest of the features, I'm going to go back to rate mode, and we're just going to set it to a nice even tempo. The next knob on here is a wave knob. The wave knob is going to decide what the tremolo wave is going to look like. It's either going to be a sine wave on the one side, or it's going to convert to a triangle wave, or it's going to go to a square wave. Let's think about what that is. A sine wave is where the volume comes up slowly and then drops off slowly. It rounds a corner and drops off. A triangle wave is where the volume is going to come up a little bit more abruptly, round the corner at 90 degrees, and start heading back down, so it's a little sharper sounding tremolo. And then if I go to the square wave is where the note comes on, stays on for a while, drops down, stays down for a while, comes on for a while, so it's like plateaus. A little bit more of an on-off type of a sound. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to sweep from one to the other while I'm playing a chord so that you can hear the difference between them. If I go all the way to a sine wave, you can hear that it's nice and smooth. It kind of fades in and fades out. If I sweep it over here to a triangle wave, it gets a little harder. If I keep going and I go to a square wave, you can hear it more sounding like an on and off. All useful, all can be had, you can do cool effects with each one. But for the most part, if you're going to stick within the types of sounds you're hearing from vintage amplifier tremolos, you'll be somewhere in that sine wave, triangle wave arena. And speaking of amplifier tremolos and vintage amp tremolos, the next knob on the pedal is the shape knob. Absolutely a key feature, in my opinion, to any tremolo pedal. The shape knob decides where the peaks and the valleys are going to be of the tremulation. In other words, is it going to come on quickly and then kind of drop off over a longer period of time? Or is it going to come on rather slowly and then shut off really quickly at the end of the tremulation cycle. Well, why is this important? Yeah, there's a lot of cool, unique, goofy effects that you can get by maxing it out from one way to the other, which we'll talk about later. But the subtleties that are available in a pedal like this that has a shape and a wave knob mean that basically any vintage amplifier, tube amplifier tremolo that you've heard in the past that you're hoping to be able to achieve is going to be achievable with this pedal. If I set myself somewhere for a sine wave type of thing and I come back on the shape knob just a little bit, it's going to be just a little bit early. Some vintage Fender amps, like my Showman amp right here, have a tremolo that kind of clicks on, it kind of pops on and then trails off a little bit slower. There's other tones, other amps tones like that can sound kind of lazy. They can have sort of a slow attack and then drop off. They tremulate just a little bit behind the beat. It's kind of an upsy-daisy. Those are all sounds that you can get. Those are all subtleties to be had with the shape knob and in the relationship between the shape and the wave knob. The last knob over here is the depth knob. That simply decides how much tremulation am I going to have, you know, from top to bottom. So all the way up, and you can hear that it's very sharp, a lot of up, a lot of down. If I bring the depth down here, you can hear that it's more subtle. There's a little bit less tremulation. If I take it all the way over, it's just barely there at all. And as we listen to some other instruments and some other settings, you'll see how that becomes important. So let's do that. Let's take a listen to some other instruments. In this example, we're going to take a listen to what it does to a lap steel. I've got this lap steel set to the neck humbucker, and I've got the shape knob set so that we're going to have a little bit of a lazier climb. It's set so that the tremulation will come up slower and then drop off a little bit more quickly. I've got the wave set somewhere between triangle and sine wave, and I've got a nice light depth so that it's just coming in with a little bit of tremulation. Now let's take a listen to what it does with a Les Paul styled guitar, maple top, mahogany back. In this setting, I've got the shape dialed up to the other end, which means it's going to be a little bit earlier now. I've got it set a little bit more to a triangle wave and have a little more depth. So it's going to be a little bit of a stronger effect on this one. And finally, in this example, I'm going to show you how you can take the shapeshifter tap tremolo and use it to create some new sounds, possibly even build some songs off of it. Let's take a listen. Well, there you have it. The SFX-07 shapeshifter tap tremolo pedal. Whether you're a traditionalist or an experimentalist, this is the pedal for you. Signing off.